Welcome back to a new video. So we're going to go through spring training today, and then that'll be in this video. Last one was a little long, but I also hadn't played in a little while, so I just wanted to go through the whole off season. I think those will probably be longer videos in general, just because I don't really want to split the off season up into a bunch of different videos. So we're going to just continue to hammer through, and we'll see where we stand after the after spring training. I mean, not really worried about managing injuries and stuff because we have 60 people on the roster. I did go through the pitching and look at that a little bit just to see make sure the starters were kind of set up how I wanted, at least the main guys that are going to potentially be there for the main season. Again, we're not worried about managing injuries or anything really. And so it'll be pretty interesting to see how well we perform in this regular season, because I really think that we have potential to maybe be above 500. I think our high end is maybe 90 games. Low end is, I think, as low as what we did last year. So like 83, 84 losses, whatever it was. So I don't think that's unrealistic to kind of repeat that year, but I definitely think we've taken strides to improve the roster. And, it seems better. It seems like we have better pieces and everything's just set up just a little bit better for us. And last year was more of an overperformance. So if we kind of did the same thing, I think that would just be kind of still trajectory or still on a positive trajectory in general, because I don't think that in general, or I think because of our overperformance, if we maintain the same thing, that would still make sense that we're generally going in the right direction. All right, so we're good here. So what I like to do here is we just go to the roster and we let the AI set up everything. And then we then want to look to see, who's at AAA. If there's anyone that we're like, we definitely need this guy up. We have someone like Prelander Baroa that is interesting. And then we have, so he's really kind of the only player that we definitely want up at the majors. We don't have anyone necessarily bad as far as it goes with relief pitching, but we can look at someone like this starting pitcher and we can bring him down to AAA to bring up him, and then we can look at pitching and set up our thing, because we definitely want Lucas Gill as one of our starting pitchers, so that actually works out well. So then our bullpen is set up pretty well. We have Prelander that apparently is an emergency starting pitcher. Don't really understand that, but that's fine with me. It's not a big deal. So he's in long relief. Joey Cantilla. So we have a lot of good pieces, and we have a good closer. We have two good setup players, and then we have honestly a pretty decent bullpen. Our only quote unquote bad pitcher is Jonathan Gannon, and we can look to see if Joey Cantilla, like, he kind of doesn't kind of move the needle in that regard. So we're going to go ahead and, so it actually keeps Lucas Gill there, which is interesting. So what we can do is look at the waiver wire to see if there's anyone, like a crazy good pitcher that we could potentially look to get. 36-year-old Danny Colombo. I don't even know how to say that. But you guys, this one is also, Ian Hamilton's also a 3-star. He's for $3.5 million. Not really too worth it, but we do have some 3-star relief pitchers that we can look at. So his stamina is not too great, not too good stamina, and they're kind of too expensive, which is probably why they're on the waiver wire, because they want to option them down or try to get rid of them, hope that someone takes them. But there's not really anyone that's really particularly interesting. He could be interesting to have on our roster, so we're going to go ahead and claim him. He's a 25-year-old left fielder. We'll try to get him on AAA. If not, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, there's no one that really kind of moves the needle too much. That's not too expensive for our bullpen. Other than Ian Hamilton would be nice because he is cheaper. And the other ones, it's not really worth the risk. So this is the trading block. So someone like this is kind of similar to the person we just claimed. There's not really anyone that's a crazy good player that we're that interested in trading. So we'll see if we're able to get him. We have all of that set up. We don't even really need him. We can just, I guess, put him there. And then see if there's any left fielder. We need to bring him up. And then let's look at our lineups. We're going to go ahead and set all the lineups. And then we'll look. It looks like they still want... It's interesting because he's 2.5 stars. He batted 284 last year in San Diego. So he's not a bad player. So what we can see is if people do start to develop a little bit, to see if, you know, John Kinsey Noel does anything coming off the bench. He did have 18 home runs last year. I kind of feel like you almost kind of have to roll with that and see if we can get it to work. But let's see. We'll see if we can finagle something. So Jake Myers, a decent outfielder, 245 last year. Quan, he can play some center field. So what I'm curious of trying to do is go knock him to center field. We'll see if we keep him left field if he goes back to being a 4-star. So he's still a 3-star regardless. So we're going to put him in center field. And what that's going to allow is Manzardo to go to left field. And what that's going to allow then is John Kinsey Noel to be our DH. Having that pop at the end of the lineup could be interesting. And then our general lineup is pretty good. Rodriguez is not the best hitter. He still has some potential to grow. And then just looking to see what else is just kind of around. Like, he's just not that great of a hitter, which is why I'm not really trying to get him into the lineup. Brian Ramos, he's in. So we honestly have a pretty decent lineup. I like having Ben Rice as our backup catcher and then having Yainer Diaz as our main catcher. I think that will work well. It's always good, always important to have two catchers. And then pitching, we have that all there. So let's move forward a little bit. Different team with a higher priority. So we'll keep him there. See if we could potentially... All right. So we're going to leave that guy on the waiver wire, and we're going to look here at... Well, actually, we could potentially just put him up because then we can move Gentry down and then move him to fill in that slot. And then we can look at Ian Hamilton to see what team he is on. So he's on the Blue Jays. We trade for player, and they want the world for him. So not going to be able to get him. It's unfortunate. Could have tried to claim some of those other players, but they were just a bit too expensive. We'll just throw him to AAA. Currently 1-3, not the best start, of course, but wow, really not a good start. At least 3 more. And then we'll go ahead and put him in AAA. 2-6, not the best. We'll see if we can start to win some games here. 8 consecutive hits. So we're playing a little bit better. 8 RBI. Was that an 8 RBI game? That's pretty crazy. Our owner dies. Surprised he made it this long. Your owner always dies in this game. It's actually pretty hilarious. No matter whether I've been the Guardians or the White Sox, owner will always die after about a year, maybe 2. So we're playing decent. So our bullpen's doing pretty good. Casey Mays is off the disabled list. We're gonna go ahead and demote him to AAA. Throw our pitcher to there. Get the staff to there, and yeah. So looks like Cade is not doing too great. Gavin is getting kind of blown up, but our bullpen looks pretty decent besides this guy who's getting destroyed. And then we'll look at our lineup to see. Let's default view batting stats. That's what I always like to look at. So see who's hitting home runs. Colson is popping off. Noel only has, I would say only has 3, but it's still quite early in the year. But interesting. All right, so we'll just keep pushing forward. See if there's anything interesting that happens. So we're kind of just chilling a little bit below 500. Looks like the Guardians are pretty decent this year, which is interesting. Or at least decent at the beginning of the year. So he is improving. Interesting. So we'll just keep pushing forward. So we're 6 games under 500. So we'll kind of wait a little bit longer, and then we'll look at our statistics again to see if there's anyone we really want to move around. So we have some players that are pending injuries here. So we're going to look. So we're 6 games under 500. You know, I'm not, like I said before in the last video, I'm not really expecting the world of this team this year. If we maintain what we did last year, that will be good, and they'll show that we're kind of still moving in that positive trajectory. So he is not batting well, which makes, because he's there at second base. So what we're going to do is reconfigure some stuff. So we're going to go ahead and put him at short. Angel Martinez is batting 248, which is a little bit better than that guy. But Noel at third. And then, so we'll adjust some things, get Ahmad out of the starting lineup. He seems to be a pretty weak play right now. And so really, we can sort by batting average and see if there's anyone that in particular that we want to have actually bat. That is currently not in the lineup right now. So it looks like most everyone is there besides Jake Myers is batting pretty decent. So we'll give him a chance to, honestly, we can move him over. So we'll have him go to center, have Kwan go to left, have Manzardo go back to DH. So we got to move around quite a bit because to optimize at least our defense, since Myers can play defense in the outfield pretty well. And let's see, we got our catcher that's batting over 300, Colson that is batting close, Kwan that's up there as there, and then everyone else. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that for the most part. I mean, obviously it'd be nice to win more games, but looks like we just won a couple in a row. Angel Martinez fractured his hand, kind of annoying. Go ahead and go there to the lineups. So it looks like between these two guys, one of them's got to go back in the lineup. So we'll just go ahead and throw him back in there. And yeah, looks like his time on the bench was brief, but that's what happens with injuries. Kind of have to roll with the punches. I guess Angel got mad, he struck out or something and punched a wall. You hate to see it. That's the lore. Angel struck out. He's unhappy that he's not hitting 500 this year and broke his hand. So he'll be out for 6 weeks. We have some improvements, so nothing really too radical there. So we'll go ahead and do the draft, and this will be a good point from which to stop. So we'll move up to there, auto draft until we are picking. Make sure we can see all of the hitters. So there's actually nobody that's really that interesting as far as all players. So yeah, the highest are 3 stars. So we're actually just gonna let the AI just draft all our players for us because there's no one that's crazy nuts that we are worried about getting. And we'll negotiate with our draftees. So we always want to set to demand regardless of what it is, because if you put it to their demand, they're most likely going to accept whatever it is. Is this guy is a 2-star? I don't really care. We'll give them all some money. Make everyone's dreams come true. Can't hurt. What we want to do now is go to the minors. Let them kind of organize the minors a little bit. Make sure it's all optimized. We're actually above 500 slightly. I'm kind of chilling around that mark, which if we win 80 plus games, I'm going to be happy. Very happy with that performance for our team. Let's look here. So Noah Schultz, he is developing crazy good. All right, so we're going to bring him up. We're going to go to pitching and optimize that. It doesn't actually bring Noah Schultz into, so I kind of want to put him into who do we replace? So he's a left-handed pitcher. Our whole bullpen is, I mean, our whole starting pitching is decent now. I think we take Casey Mays out and put Noah Schultz in because his potential is high as a starting pitcher. And then, oh, okay, we're just gonna move him back and then put Noah back in, and then there we go. All right, so I'm quite happy with that. He's only 22, so he has a ton of potential. Drew Thorpe. Okay, we'll go forward just a little bit more before we end this video. So we're actually over 500, just barely. Actually, we're exactly 500 right now. So honestly, really happy with where we are. I've remembered in past rebuilds that for whatever reason, the game does not like this person. So I guess he's a bullpen cancer. Grant Holmes is a decent starting pitcher. There's no one that's really popping off. Like Kelly Jansen would be nice, but unless he's really cheap, he is. So we can see potentially, it can't hurt to have more pitching, especially cheap. So they kind of just want too much for him, frankly. He's kind of popping off in the minors. Yeah, so a 30-year-old starting pitcher is not worth any of those players. And yeah, someone like that, there's just no one that's really that worth it to trade for. Everyone that's just kind of 30 plus, and it doesn't really fill any needs for us. Good and clear here. But we are going to end at this point. Next video we'll probably get through the All-Star break, but we're currently 33 and 33, which is really exciting. Certainly our team is moving in the right direction. Before leave this video, I just looked at the pitching. Looks like Noah Schultz is pitching decent in his first start, but then we'll have Yainer Diaz that's still batting over 300. As far as or that's RBIs, I thought he had 36 home runs for a second. That's like he's breaking every home run record. Looks like we have Quan has 11 home runs already. John Kinsey is, if he bats like above 220 and just mashes home runs, it makes it worth it for us. So that's kind of an interesting player to have. He's at third right now, and then we have a decent amount of power on the team. So quite excited for that. Hopefully this lineup kind of sticks together as it is. We do have Angel that eventually come back and replace Ahmad, but it looks like his average jumped up just a little bit, so he might be batting a little bit better. But that's gonna be it for this one. So you've made it to this video, or to the end of this video. I appreciate it, and make sure you do all that fun stuff to help the channel grow, and I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Peace.